I've been playing Pokemon for as long as I could hold a controller, but I've never really touched fan games or challenges or whatever you want to call them. However, that all changed when I came across a video called The Pokemon Game Where You Create Fusions by Alpharad. So I decided to take on the challenge and take on Pokémon Infinite Fusion. Just a playthrough though, I'm not a sadist. So we start off by making a character, giving her a name, and then we learn about the DNA splicers, which is the gimmick of this game. This allows you to fuse two Pokemon together. Well, I never would have guessed that. We then wake up in our room, play some PS5, say hi to mum, then we're off to pick our Pokemon. Of course, we pick the best starter, Charmander, and of course, we name it Squirtle. We then get some splicers and Pokeballs. Now we have officially started our adventure into Pokemon Fusion. We first off catch a Rattata and Pidgey fusion, unfuse them, and mix the Squirtle with a Pidgey to create this. Anyway, we catch a few more, then get straight into fusing by making a Poliwag Meowth, and then create the Rat Emperor, which I keep for some reason, but we can't think too much about it because we have our first gym leader in Brock. I just sent out my Polif to deal with this gym. Brock firstly sent out his Geodude Pidgey combo, which was dropped within 2 hits, which was simple enough. Then he sent out his Diglett Onyx, and after putting it to sleep just as a safety caution, because I knew it would have a grass move, which it did, it was dealt with quickly in just one shot. First badge done. We then move through the forest, dealing with a bunch of trainers to come out the other side to Mount Moon, deal with Team Rocket, where we also happen to catch a Nidoran and fuse it with my Poliwag to make Poliwrath, and having a water poison type is so good at this stage, as well as the rest of the playthrough, as well as making a Meowth Geodude combo, which I affectionately call Jeff, because that's how it looks like when you spell it. We then finally make it through Mount Moon after an embarrassingly long time to face off against Team Rocket in their base, but instead they force the scientists to fight for them. What are they doing with 3 Pokemon? Also, they're gone. Weird. Anyway, we move on to Route 4 where our Poliwrath evolves into Poliwrino. We face off against the Water Gym leader, Misty. And can I just say that after Brock, I was way too overconfident. I was just lucky to have a good type advantage, but now I have nothing. So I took a defeat, did some training, and went back to Misty and failed again and again. But after some experimenting with a spare Poliwag and Hoppip, I thought we had a chance, but it didn't work. I was fine with her Jiggledean, but her Staryu Oddish fusion gave me nothing but headaches until finally, after heal stalling through and being put on 1 HP from a Mega Drain, we finished it off with a Venoshock, and badge number 2 was ours. And now we can finally move on to the next gym, until he shows up. We deal with Blue, no problem, and head on to the Route 24 bridge where our Squirtle evolved into Darwin's worst nightmare. So after the fusing it and bleaching it from my mind, we stumbled upon a lab with this guy. Anyway, so after helping out our curious friend, we get a ticket to the SS and we head straight to it because the captain here will give us the TM for cut. And after fighting through it, the whole crew, our Poliwrino evolves into Poliwrino. Well, I guess the first bit doesn't change. Anyway, just as we go to meet the captain, we are interrupted by our lovely rival, Blue. Anyway, after beating him up and helping the captain, we learn cut and head to the electric gym. And can I just say, I know this isn't new, but this test for a child's game shouldn't be that hard. It was 10 minutes of me guessing and backing out, then guessing again. I mean, 200,000 fusions, but still, this stupid challenge of, ooh, find the right bin, then you gotta find the other bin that matches, drove me crazy. Anyway, we do it, face off against Surge, and I realised that we are. My Meowth and Charmeleon are useless, so I try a different tactic of fusing my Charmeleon with a Sandshrew to get that ground typing, and we face off again. We start off with sending out Poliwrino against his Voltorb Krabby combo, and they took each other out thanks to Poliwrino's poison point, applying poison, then just waiting it out. We then sent out our Geodude against the Pikachu Diglett, and after a magnitude it was dropped. Next, it had its Electabuzz Raichu combo, and we stuck with our Geodude, and after some double teams and quick attacks on their part, we were sorted. Badge number 3 was ours. We then head on through Route 9 and the Rock Tunnel until we eventually come out the other side onto Route 10. That was over an hour of footage, condensed in just 2 lines. Then we finally made it to Lavender Town and take on the Pokemon Tower until this utter buffoon shows up. Anyway, we carry on through the tower where Team Rocket takes an old man up even further, and as we go to get him, we discover that Casper the friendly ghost is not a friendly ghost, but he is in fact a So anyway, we head down the sewers where Blue's facing off against Team Rocket, so I grab the grass type gym leader Erica and we head on down. After fighting through some grunts and being on the shittiest Walter rides ever, we finally reach the end and face off against Giovanni, and to start off, we send out Polarino to deal with his Arbok Onyx fusion by spamming Bubble Beam. He then sends out his Rhydon Lapras, which we poison, and also spam Bubble Beam. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He then finally sends out his Haunter Kangaskhan, which destroys Polarino with a Shadow Ball, but then we manage to paralyze it with Magnemite, heal up Polarino, send him back out, then spammed it again with Bubble Beam. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Anyway, we then face off against Erica's gym, where Magnemite evolves into Magneton, and the gym fight was pretty simple. Having a poison and fire type made it so there was no real worry about Erica's team, even though Polarino is half water type, and so after that we had badge number 4. Now we could finally take on the Pokemon Tower. After fighting through some quite dark and unsettling stuff, we met up with an old man and got the Pokeflute, and after catching the Snorlax that was blocking our path, which we will definitely be using later for some big ideas, as well as doing more fusing and some more catching, then some more fusing, we were finally ready to continue our journey. We now set off to create our all-star team. We start off by making a Charizard and Snorlax combo called Charlax, a Nidoreader Magneton called Nidoton. We'll fix it later. We then have a Cypher Honedge called Honfer, a Zoroark Politoed called Zorotoad. Not the most creative name, but we take it. We then have a Noctowl Pinsir to finish off the team, and that's it, no matter how diseased they look. So after some fixing and letting others rot, we then headed to the next gym, which was Koga, the poison type gym leader. To be honest, it was an easy wipe with Charlax, but the issue came when we had to face off against a Chansey Muck, which we wiped too. But the next time we had a plan. To start off, we sent out Charlax to face off against his Venomia and Magnifine with a combination of body slams and flame bursts. I then sent out my Magnerino to deal with the Beedrill Cypher, which was sorted after a few poison jabs. I then picked Magnerino because of the electric resistance and just not really having a good counter for the Beedrill, and not wanting any of my other Pokemon to get paralyzed, I just went for it. Now we move on to the Chansey Muck combo. After Magnerino gave it a paralysis, its job was done, so it just kept spamming moves to try and chip away at its damage, which was negated thanks to Black Sludge. We then sent out Zorotoad to lower its speed with Scary Face, since that's all we could do. We then sent out Charlax that lowered its accuracy until we got to Honfer, the star of this gym. This Muck is known for being impossible to hit because of its invasiveness increases, but do you know what move ignores that? Aerial Ace. So our poor Honfer was reduced to spamming Sword Dance, healing, spamming Aerial Ace, healing, spamming Aerial Ace, then healing some more. It's not the most glamorous win, but it worked, and the 5th gym badge was officially ours. Moving on, our Honfer evolved into a Dubfer, and we headed on into Saffron City. Instead of heading to Silco, I went straight to the dojo, which I admittingly thought was a gym. Got myself a Hitmonchan, used it with Pikachu, and made Pikachu. Anyway, we headed up to the Silph Tower to face off against Team Rocket, where our Dub4 evolved again into a Dubzar, its final evolution on both sides, then headed through the building to fight Giovanni, until this absolute melon shows up. I mean, we are about to fight a mob boss that has kept a bunch of scientists hostage, and you want to fight now. Not in like 10 minutes when this is all over, but now. Anyway, we beat him and took on Giovanni in a double battle with Blue. This is honestly the worst fight so far because I couldn't get the typing right on any of the Pokemon. So I just brought out Zorotoad and spammed Surf, so we were all good after that. Anyway, we beat him, talked to a scientist, got a Chikorita by accident. I was gonna pick another one but misclick, but in all fairness, the grass typing was very much welcome. So now we can finally face Sabrina, the psychic type gym leader. We start off with Charlax, which doesn't beat a single Pokemon. We then bring out Dubsaur, which kills the Hitmine with an X-Scissor, then switch to Zorotoad, and this becomes a dark move heal stall until eventually CatDog is defeated. We then one-shot her Gengar Alakazam combo with a good old Feint Attack, and we also do the same for the Alakazam Slowbro and get our 6th gym badge. We then combine our Chikorita with an Absol to create Chikasol, then we head off to Mount Ember. After fighting our way through, we face off against Giovanni and Jesus. I'm sorry, the fact that this isn't a double battle, at least on my part, is actually ridiculous, and I didn't know what to do. So I was underleveled and nothing I did gave me any sort of damage, so I left, losing the battle, but I knew I wouldn't lose the war. I have fought enough Pokemon to rival Ash Ketchum, and here we are. All our Pokemon are level 50 minimum, and we are ready to fight. To start off, we sent out Zorotoad, who got a Surf after dealing decent damage to all 3 birds. Whipbutt was killed by an Ice Beam and a Thunderbolt combo. We then sent out Megasol to sacrifice so I could max revive the Zorotoad again, which failed. So anyway, we sent out our Raichu with which Thunderbolt the Moltres and finished off one of the heads. We then sent out Dubsaur, which didn't do a lot, and then we sent out the Magnemino, and after 2 discharges the Articuno was dead. Now for the Zapdos. Magnemino was dropped by a Drill Peck and it was all down to Charlax, and in a single flamethrower we had won and we went to claim our reward. We have the king of fire types anyway, it's alright. Anyway, we teach our Charlax he'd crash, find Blaine, the 7th gym leader, and face him. Now my plan for this is to just let Zorotoad solo this gym, and to be fair, he did through 3 of Blaine's Pokemon until he was outsped with a Thunderfang from a Ninetales Arcanine combo. Then we bring out Charlax to finish off the job, but he had other ideas, and after some really unlucky flinches and confusions for my Raichu, we brought out Magnemino, which he 2-shot. We then send out Raichu and he gets his revenge, and badge number 7 is ours. And with no time to waste, we head straight to the face-off against the final gym leader and Team Rocket leader Giovanni. We've got another gym of Zorotoad being the MVP, in which we 2-shot his Rhyperior Lapras. We then sent out Dubsaur for his Geodude Machamp combo, which I killed from a misclicked X-Scissor. Anyway, we sent out Raichu and it was fine. Then we send out Zorotoad, which gets dropped. I know I said he would be the MVP and I really did expect him to do more, but it's fine. Then Raichu got 1 shot. We sent out our Megasol, which did some good damage against a Rylax and an Electro Trio. We then sent out Raichu to finish off the Electro Trio with a super effective Ice Punch, but it finished it off with an Earthquake that I thought it could take. Regardless, we have Charlax to finish the job. Both of these creations have been fused from the Almighty, so let's see what happens. Okay, looking back, it was pretty simple, but if the Rylax was faster then we would have been in trouble because despite its wings, Charlax is not a flying type, so Earthquake would have killed us. But anyway, that is gym number 8 done. And now we have our final rival fight of the game. It will be dramatic, it will be bloody, it will be magnificent. Anyway, we head through a cave, push some boulders, head out the other side, and we are ready to face off against the Elite 4, and we fail. In attempt number 2, we make it to blue, and we fail again. But in attempt number 3, we fail again. But After some careful planning, we set off on our final attempt with our evolved Magnerino into Magneking. With our teams and strategies perfected, we are ready for the final fight of the Elite Four. To start off, we face Lorelei, the first Elite Four member. She first sends out a Magmortar Juong fusion, in which I retaliate with a Zorotoad Surf, one-shotting it. She then sends out a Jinx Tangrowth, and after which we also one-shot with a Heat Crash from Charlax. 2 down, 3 more to go. Then a Weavile Lapras is sent out, and we use Dubsaur to take advantage of its Dark typing with an X-Scissor. We then send out Magneking, which spams Poison Waves to get rid of her Tentacool Cloyster combo. Then we send out Charlax to deal with the Mamoswine Slowbro combo, and after an Inferno, it's down. First Elite Four member down, 3 more to go. We then move on to Bruno. He starts off with a Machamp Electivire combo, and Megasol uses a Psycho Cut which gets it in the red, but then it is one shot. We then send out Magneking to Sludge Wave and poison it, unfortunately sacrificing itself in the process. We then send out Raichu to tank it out until it faints. We then send out Zorotoad to use Surf on the Marowak Hitmonchan combo for a super effective hit, then send Raichu back out again to Fire Punch the Scissor Heracross, and we do the same to the Steechamp and finish the Magneton Onix off with a Focus Blast, and that's Bruno done. Now we move on to Agatha. We send out Zorotoad against Mischievous and Zubat combo to feint attack it. We do the same for the Wobgar and put a Snorgard down in the red for Raichu to finish it off, and with a few more Thunderbolts, a Gengar Houndoom is finished. We then beat her final Pokemon, which is an Umbreon Haunter, and we had beaten Agatha. In my opinion, the easiest Elite Four member to deal with. Now we have finally reached Lance, the final Elite Four member, and we have a Dragados that paralyzes Zorotoad and outraged it. We then sent out Magneking to try and poison it, but that failed too. But our Raichu came out and finished the job. But another thing I'd like to say is I ran out of potions. Not because I'm stupid, but I had no money. So half my team came into this at half health, but halfway through we sent out Dubsaur and Megasol, which were both mistakes. So I sent out the backbone of this team, Raichu, to Thunderbolt and kill the Toga Knight. We then had a Pterodactyl, we then had a Tyrannodactyl that we got outsped by, and all we had left was Charlax, and if he died, our starter, it was all over, and we used him to heal up the rest of the team. I know it's pretty anticlimactic, but I'm not risking it, okay? So after healing, Charlax used Inferno, got a burn off, and just spammed moves until it fell, and we kept Charlax out for a Porygon Seadra, even though it was a weakness. And I mean, he got it to the orange, so you know what, for healing and doing some decent damage, I'm not too upset. It's time for Zorotoad to spam Surf, not only on the Polydra, but also the Typhlosion Dragonair, and that was it. We had beaten Lance, but we still had to face off against the champion, our last opponent, until we won. We send out Raichu to deal with the Nidiot Rot. Unfortunately, it's hit with an Earthquake, so we send out Dubsaur to finish it off with a Dark Slash, and we then send out Zorotoad to deal with the Rhyperior Magmortar, and we hit it with a 4-time super effective Surf. We then send out the Megasol, who kills the Electrodes with a Sword Dance boosted Psycho Cut, as well as the Blastoise, and we get one more off on the Taurus Execute, and we finished it off with some feint attacks, and we did the same for the Starmie Alakazam, and we did it. We beat Blue. Our Pokemon finally made it to the Hall of Fame. So that's it. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe down below. Sorry it's been a while since my last video, but yeah, if you did enjoy, please make sure to remember to subscribe.